the 6-volt pile. It is a Model M, because I suppose that's the only letter they could come up with. And it won't run. One of the reasons was a starter switch somebody had painted over it and it wouldn't engage, then it rusted and it wouldn't move. Gas tank was dirty, carburetor was dirty. Took care of those two things. This system never worked the day they made it, no matter how hard you twist them left or right. But what is cool, you got this little bitty gauge right there. It's got to be the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. And I'll tell you what else is cool. You've got only 2 little gauges right here. That's got to be the second coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole time. And I'll tell you what else is kind of cool. It's got that little cool ignition switch right there. Charging low, high, light. Okay, I don't know what that means, and I'm already charging. So let's get in here. Charging low, high, lights. You know, I don't even know if it has lights. Does it have lights? Oh, right there, Model M, it says it. I threw the question out there on the Book of Faces, and a lot of people know. It's an M39398 serial box number. And I'm gonna make it run. Pump the tires up. They say you'll die if we ever wear out a tractor tire. And that's true in this case. I've got the tires. And we got the moves like Jagger. No idea what this does yet, but we'll find out, just like that Willie's truck. We'll find out what all these things do when we get it cranked and start cruising. 6-volt system, bowl nasty, carburetor removed, put back on. This has been squashed. I finally got it straightened out and back on. I can't get it to stop spinning right there. I've pulled that off and made several adjustments. I have not checked the oil in here yet. This thing right here is challenging to get off. You need like 4 people, one here, one over there, one over here, one over here, because when you pop it over here on off, that side pops on. Maybe it's just me, but it's probably you too. I wanna run. That's you too. Nobody knows what this little box is for. It's got drain holes in it. Got a generator, gas tank. You can see some new flavor right there. What else do you need to know real quick? This PVC is to blow the exhaust from the coal burning engine to the front. It also keeps your rain out. What else do you need to know? Whoever the non-engineer is that built this thing should have put this on this side. That's for one. Should have put this, which I can't move, throttle lever, which may not even move, don't worry about that, on this side, and rerouted a cable, because when you pull this off and this, first of all, there's not enough room to get anything right there, so you better just find a 9/16 and set aside some time and go, Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. Answer your phone a few times, Ricky, Ricky. And then when you get it, after you've taken this off and taken that off, you can't move it. You cannot move it anywhere without taking these off. And the problem with taking these off is the cotter pins on the inside. Welcome back, cotter pin. And then this one you have to take off, and it goes right through this tube and right back there and screws in. That is a smaller number, but we'll get to that. We'll get to the bowl. Then we're going to see if it even turns over. Rumor has it locked up for 75 years. Okay, not really, but locked up. You know, it has hydraulics, and I thought, where in the world is the hydraulic pump? So I came back here and I pushed this button. I didn't hear anything. Nobody knows what that is either. I wish I knew what that was. And then I thought, oh, that's the hydraulic pump. There's your lift, there's your down, unless I get it backwards. This is a newer JDS. That's a John Deere seat, not to be confused with JDM. This is your choke. Now that I focus on what I'm looking at. Nobody knows what this switch is yet. I don't know what it is yet. And I'm assuming this is throttle. I mean, that's all your options. What else could there be? Other than heavy duty and tractors always running forever and ever and ever and ever, and the tires wearing out never, ever, ever, unless you run them down the road. This is all it is. A Gigantor hunk of metal. That's pretty stinking cool. It would look cooler if it was haze gray with the USS Alabama written across it, and then some model numbers up and down the front. Only because I'm not necessarily a John Deere fan anymore. I was years ago. I had a little itsy bitsy Model 70 lawn tractor, which is the small. No, they made a 60, which is the smallest. Is that a glass? It's not glass. Nobody knows. That's where you, if that was clear, you could see the fish in there. There were very few models that came with a fish tank or a coffee maker. This is espresso. You just remove a few things. But the Model 60 was the smallest. The 70 is the one I got in somebody's yard for 75 bucks. It looked brand new. Me and the Rune and Gabriel, the cheerleader who graduates next week, got it running. That was their first wrenching job, and they were little. They were like little. Have I told you? Well, I'll put it this way. They were little. A lot of times I just stand around and look at, well, here's the way I see it. So we're gonna clean the bowl. You done looking? We're gonna clean the bowl. What is that situation? Oh, that drains the antifreeze. We haven't been in there yet. I'm a little afraid to have a play date in there. Oh, there's a little rusty flavor in there. Oh, look at that. I did learn one thing. You put this antique on 6-volt and try to charge a deep cycle marine battery, you may as well go give it to a Marine, because it's going to be just about as useless. Now that was highly offensive. They served our country. I'm just kidding. I was stationed with the Marines for 4 years and had a blast. I was not a Marine, but I had a good time. They took care of me and I took care of them. No matter what bar they went in and came home with issues from, we took care of it. And you know what I'm talking about, Marine Corps boys over there in Korea. Not the Korean War. Korea, the country. It's right next to the Yucatan Peninsula. There's a lot going on here. This could be the throttle, because it doesn't seem to do anything for the tires. There's really not a French fry zone in here. I mean, you could drop a French fry in there, but you would still be able to find it. Unlike most cars and trucks that have a French fry zone that you drop, and then you find, oh, there is something in there. That's supposed to be there, but you drop something in the seat, and you don't find the French fry for like a year, or the next person that buys the car finds it. Oh, here's another challenge. I'm running through it all, so you old school dudes and dudettes who know about this John Deere M. I mean, that right there is really not helpful. I would love to get this off, but you gotta take this off. And all these things do not go back on. I could not get that one to latch. That one is barely latched. That one's not latched at all. So I don't think they'd ever been off. Somebody spray painted it with probably some spray paint, and I mean, it looks pretty good. It's got a couple of dings in its forehead, but so do I. Must have been in some tunnels. Oh, I don't know what to do. You see that? You see that bumblebee right there? A bumblebee tuna. A bumblebee tuna. That's a bumblebee tuna. The cool thing about bumblebees and tuna, bumblebees always come back. Tuna does not. I'll show you in a minute. Come back over here. And wait right here. Do this. You don't think so, do you? Yeah, I'm gonna sneeze. That's okay. So, the main questions I have on a serious note are, what is that? Should I put something in there? Does that mean it's a 3-cylinder? Is this left and right and should not be able to lock it? Haha, I love that game. Oh, that's brakes locked on. Oh. Huh. The engine annuity is amazing on this machine. If it ever runs again, I'm gonna actually wash it and put that sticker on there again. And I'm gonna take this toilet bowl bulb off of there and maybe put another one. I want to be ever so gentle. Oh, I should not have done that. We're gonna leave that because it looks like it's all I've got, and I probably should put a little electrical tape around it. No, dude, you need to just order another one off Amazon. It's only $37.95. Well, on Temu they're only like $4. Temu contacted me and said, "Hey, dude, do you want to be a rep?" So they let me get on there, just order anything I wanted. Of course, I did. All kinds of stuff. You know what I can't forget? Is to put that back in. I've always been told if you have a brass fitting, you don't need any type tape. Tell that to the worms. I'll tell you something else that was interesting. Is since I'm not gonna put it crazy tight. It was pretty tight. And I know gasoline will find a way, because where there's a well, there's a way. But what was odd to me, oh goodness. Okay, there we go. When that turns that way, it doesn't do anything. But when I turn it right, it goes down. I guess that shuts off the petcock valve, right? That one I don't know, unless that was some sort of a ground. Which, oh no, that's a jet, ain't it? I see the spring now. So that's Benny and the jets. I could still potentially, no, those have been pulled and reamed and cleaned. That one I missed. So that's on there. This needs to be tightened up. This is gonna need some sort of a glass bowl. Usually everything in there goes to crumble. So this one is not crumbled. So I'll stop sticking my fingers in it. This needs to be on there all the way. And then after it charges for probably the rest of my life, this is a it's a 1918 battery. Now, from what I've read, you can tell if it's a 6 volt. A 6 volt will have 3 cells. You got to put something in. I don't know what you put in them. This ain't 1863 or the 1900s, so I didn't put anything in them. Next, if you have an AC Delco, the tag will be red if it's 12 volt. No idea if this is an XD, because the tag is gone. The girl is mine, mine. Yes, she's mine. It is a 1-cylinder. Oh, there's 2 cylinders on this side. Yeah, I was gonna take that off, but I could not get it off. Because every time I'd reach over from one side, and I don't have anyone here to help me, one of these would pop back in on this. I mean, you think it's easy. Go down there and pop that one off, undo the other side. Dude, take your caps off and lift it off. Absolutely not. This barely fits through the hole. And you think it would just come right out of there, but it does not. So you have no idea what you're doing. Once you give that to a real man who knows how to fix it, I got a better idea. If you're that real man, instead of writing an ugly comment, come down here and show me how to work on this. Watch your mouth. So anyway, it has a bigger tank than my bulldozer, which you need to update on, don't you? Before we go there, I took this to Gaston Golf Carts. I rarely leave reviews online, but heads up for those of you who live in the Alabama land. They wanted $400 for a muffler with 3 teeny tiny holes right there and 2 teeny tiny holes in the bottom. So I got some high heat JB Weld and a high heat JB Welded. Not only that, I took it there because it was going blah, 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 and then it catch back up. $1,300 to $1,600 later, they had no idea what was going on. I don't know what they did. They did put some washers in here. I wanted the right bolts and everything to go in here, but they just shoved it full of about 50 washers on it. That's Gadsden Golf Carts. Avoid it like the plague. So I took it over to the line to oh, they put a new plug in there for me. That was, I think, $600 of the $1,300. I took it over the line to East Georgia or West Georgia Golf Carts. And in about 2 days, they figured out there was a loose wire internally somewhere, soldered it back. The guy took it home. He said, let me drive it for the weekend and make sure it's not doing a thing. It's been a year and a half, probably near 2 years ago. Have not had a minute of trouble, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Project 85, Project 86, Project 97. I know what you're thinking, dude, those are trolling motors, how hard could it be? Well, I ordered a new prop for this one. I've taken that all the way off, and that thing does not slide off. I can't get it. I've pried on it and pried on it and pried it. It will not come off. So again, if you know how to get that off without getting a grinder going, which is the next step, feel free to comment. That's just a bunch of nasty old glass right down there. Project 122. As you can see, the grass is growing up. But do not be dismayed. The only problem with this, they say if you bang on a gas tank, it's like banging on an airbag. But I remember in high school, I knew this guy and he would not be quiet. They called him the airbag. He didn't blow up and I beat on him. Just kidding. I don't want it to crank because, see, that wasn't funny at all. Sorry, but I don't want it to crank because I've just cleaned the carburetor. I've done everything. And I got rid of the 1800 bolts that were in there and put some zippity doodahs. And as you can see, I can't get over here to cut grass, but that's not really what's important right now. My sediment bowl is really sedimentary, and that's why it's putting on weight. And that is actually just sedentary. And it's about the same weight, but sedimentary, sedentary. I knew an old boy who had dysentery. So now you see what's going on. I do want this to run. And I will be ever so happy if the hydraulics work. I don't see why they wouldn't. It's just a big sloppy thing with a couple of ports inside. One turns on, one turns off. When it pushes pressure through it, I tell you, I'm still fascinated with the world that fluid can do something so powerful. But I have walked in front of Target, and where the rain just off the roof, it's already getting washed out spots in the concrete. You know, they say that takes millions of years. It only took about 10 to 12 for a drip to put a hole in concrete. So how do you like me now? So again, this one came with these workout bars. So you can put things on here, and you'll have a bar right there, and you'll lift. I haven't used that option yet because I don't. Oh, I know where we were talking about. What is that? I'm thinking that probably engages the PTO. But you'll probably hit your fingers right there, so it would probably have to only go this way and that way. It only has reverse, first, second, third. Nobody knows what that is. That's a number 4 in Hebrew. That right there, I don't know if I should plug that or not, if it's just a dead hole. I'm done. I just wanted you to see it. I'll tell you something else I've never known. What does that mean? Is that something to do with top dead center, TDC, if you will? That's for those in the biz. So anyway, this is the next project. I do like its little dog dish hubcaps. Finally got some for old Blue. And we'll get back to this. And I'm open for any suggestions, altercations, collaborations, remanufacturing, representation, prosecutions, persecutions, and Tupperware. Thanks for watching my videos.